this film. Okay, so this film is blah blah blah, and this is how I rate it. I do, however, I do compare them to Blood Lake because it's just that movie was just that bad in my opinion. So I'll compare them to that. So it's like if you're on this side of the line, that's rough. If you're way down there, that's rough. And I tell people about that film because there's people who say they've seen horrible films, this, that, and the third. I'm like, listen, watch this movie first, and then then you could tell me if if you've really seen a terrible film. And I also feel like films like that are bad, not just as bad as that, but just bad in general. I feel like they need more of a light because, for me, the horror fan that I am, it's fun talking about those films that aren't that great. Almost more fun than talking about the great films because everybody talks about the great films. And it makes you appreciate those, like how you were saying, giving a film a 7 out of 10. It makes you appreciate those, I'll say even like 4s and 5s more because you watch something so bad. You're like, you know what? This four may actually be a 5 or a 6 because I just watched this shit. And, but I digress. Steve, man, you got you here. I got you here live. How's it going? How's everything?
Very, very good. Very good. Having a great week.
I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm happy to hear that. People need to start rolling in here so they can check this out. But I do want to, I did ask you if I can use your trailer for the intro. So
for sure.
I do want to pull in the trailer. So for those of you who are watching live or you're going to be here live in a minute or two, I hope you're ready because we'll be right back. What's up, people? Now, before you get your chainsaws ready, I want you guys to do me one favor. Go right down here, right below, right here. Go to ihemparita.com. Again, it is ihemparita.com, right? Get yourself the best CBD gummies and the best CBD shooters on the planet. I'm telling you, the Sawyer family would love this. It would have helped Leatherface with all the craziness going on. That whole family wouldn't have been so damn violent if they had some of this awesome Hemparita because it's nice and relaxing. Get the CBD gummies or the shooters. 1 shooter, 2 servings. 1 gummy, 1 serving. And the shooter bottles, for those of you that drink, are the same size as those little shooter bottles you get from the liquor store. ihemparita.com. Use promo code SIR.STURDY when you check out. Save yourself 10%. So you spend over $50, guess what? Free shipping. Now let's get into this. The Sawyer Family Massacre. You guys are going to want to see this. I have a cool little trailer I can show you, which I'm going to pull this up and show you guys. And I'm excited myself. Just stay put. I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to hop right into the interview.
Is this really the place? Come on, Jimmy, it'll be fun! Something's off here.
Bob, stay out of there! You're crazy!
We're all crazy. Everybody.
Charlie!
Yeah. Yes, I know. You want to see that. And I do as well. Go over to Indiegogo, which it will be in the description. Click that link and go support. I'll pull it up during the live as well. But kick back, relax, and enjoy this interview with us. Just if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop it right in the comments. I'll be sure to pull it up on screen and answer. And yeah, so as always, welcome to the madness. And we're back. We are back. So before I ask you about this awesome Indiegogo and the awesome fan film that you guys are working on. Who or what got you into horror, and like, what's the first movie that you remember that scared you as a child?
Oh, wow, deep question. Who got me into horror? Probably my older brother.
Awesome.
So that could answer that question. He was a big my brother Alex is a big Freddy Krueger fan. So I remember growing up in the 80s, mid to late 80s, and he was just right into Freddy Krueger,
Mhm.
Went to, I think in 1988 he tried to do his own Freddy Krueger costume and everything. So I kind of looked up to him. And but at the same time, Freddy didn't do a ton for me as
Yeah.
a young kid. I didn't really watch all the movies or anything either, but it wasn't I didn't find myself gravitating towards Freddy. I was hoping to find a horror movie that would be more of my own. And in 1988, just an 8-year-old kid, I saw a TV spot for a little film called Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers, and that was really sort of my dive into horror.
Nice.
Was just seeing that little TV trailer, I thought, okay, this guy is scary. This guy is more my my cup of
Mhm.
tea when it comes to horror villains, I should say, horror icons. But I had
Awesome.
never heard of him at that point, because Michael Myers had not done anything for most of the 80s since they killed him off in 1982 or 1981, I guess. But I got very intrigued. And, when a couple years later, when we came back from trick or treating as kids, we came back. We noticed that Halloween 3 was on TV. So I finally get my first chance to see Michael Myers. I thought it was Halloween 3. Well, this must be Michael Myers, right? But it wasn't. And we were like, well, how come that Michael Myers guy wasn't in this anywhere? you know?
Mhm.
Uh, and of course, at the time, I hated it because of that. But I've since now, actually, as I've gotten older, really grown to actually love that film uh, more and more, because it really definitely uh, uses Halloween itself very, very well in
Yes.
that movie. And I think that's something that a lot of these later sequels, now that we've gotten, they're not really Halloween films anymore. They're Michael Myers films. And I kind of wish that they were more successful with Halloween 3, because it's kind of gotten stale, in my opinion. Anyways, I love Michael Myers, but man, there's only so much you can do with him. Maybe Blumhouse will do that after Halloween ends, though. I don't know.
I what's funny is, like, as far as Halloween 3 goes, when I first seen it as a child, I probably seen it maybe once or twice. Just hated it. Same reason Michael Myers wasn't in it. And of course, I didn't know that was, well, I didn't even know what an anthology was at the time. Never even heard
Yeah.
of the word. But I didn't know that they wanted to do, like, I think they originally wanted to do just Halloween 1, and then they got talked into doing part 2.
Hmm.
And then they wanted to, have a Halloween movie come out just about every year, but a different type of story. Which I thought,
Yeah.
in hindsight, amazing idea. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad. It's weird. It's like, the whole multiverse, if you want to use, superhero shit, comic book stuff. But it's like, if you can go to a different universe or a different Earth and see how that would have went if that was successful, but still have this one on this Earth, only because of the success of Michael Myers, the popularity of Michael Myers, and how he became an icon. If it was just those first two films, I don't think he would have been as iconic as he is now. Like, a part of, I call him the big three: Jason, Michael, and Freddy.
Yeah.
But I still feel like that idea could work and should happen, because I think it would. Again, if Blumhouse does it or whatever, I think that'd be dope. Just because
Yeah.
you have a
I
better
think it'd be
understanding
cool
of it.
to see a return to that, to something different in the Halloween universe, where
Yeah, I agree.
where Halloween is not taking such a back seat anymore. I mean, how Halloween is it if it's just set on Halloween? Where does Halloween actually really playing into the plot, other than it being set? And you can only do that so many times, in my opinion. You gotta change it up a little bit, So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that. And I mean, I really, just because we're on the topic of, excuse me, of Halloween, I feel like a film that portrayed Halloween very well was Trick or Treat.
yes, yes.
I feel that one portrayed it well. And
Mhm.
I'm sure there's others. I know there's others, but that's just
Oh
one that
yeah.
really stands out, that did it, like, almost the best in recent memory.
Yeah.
But I guess we got to see what happens with the next Halloween film. I mean, it looks
We'll see.
entertaining. I'll say that. It looks good. It looks fun. But I do agree with what you said about how it kind of took away from the whole Halloween theme, the whole trick or like the Halloween theme of it. Even if you saw Michael Myers, at least have the Halloween theme of it for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But
Get it into the plot somehow. Why is it Halloween? Why, that's the thing. I'm kind of missing why it's Halloween. What is it about Halloween that itself that triggers Michael Myers, or I don't know. I think there's ways to do it. I just don't. I think they're kind of lazy with it, and it's just give me more Michael, give me more Michael, give me more Michael, which is great and all, but it's to an extent,
do you think
I
you
want to
like
know
it
why
more?
Halloween.
Do you
What's
think
that?
you'd like it more if it was a different if Halloween was a different title? Do you think you would like it a little bit more? Even if it still took place on Halloween, but it was just a different title. Like let's just to make it simple, like say if it was called like Michael Myers or the Haddonfield Massacre. Something
Yeah,
like that.
or the Shape, or the Boogeyman,
There
or
you go.
because again, I mean, I'm a big fan of the first Halloween film, um, where he wasn't Michael Myers, he was the Shape, or the Boogeyman.
Hmm.
The name Michael Myers is never uttered in the entire first film. Just remember that name is never even uttered. The name Michael is, but not the full Michael Myers name, and the Myers house is referred to. So you get that this is who this is. His name
Yeah,
is
yeah.
probably Michael Myers. It makes sense, but at the same time, the actual name Michael Myers is never actually uttered in that movie. So he almost becomes he's become a different character. He was credited as the Shape in that movie,
Hmm.
and I kind of like that. It brings a mystique. I like having no names to characters because then they're more mysterious, and part of me wishes that we never got Michael Myers. We always had the Shape, but you really can't undo that now at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Real last thing on Michael Myers, and then we'll definitely dive into your film. But I
Sure.
did order from SOVHorror.com just because you said the shape.
Ah,
And
there
if
you
you go
go.
to SOV Horror, if you go to their YouTube page, you can actually watch this film. It's a fan film from like '92,
Oh
which is
wow.
pretty dope. I didn't watch it yet, but it's like a 21-minute fan short, I should say, about 21 minutes. But yeah, just because we were speaking on the shape, but let's dive into what we're really here for, which is the Sawyer Massacre.
Let's dive into it.
I watched that trailer for one. Awesome, freaking awesome.
Well, thank you.
I have to say that. And like, I'm sure there is some shorts or fan films out there. I have yet to see one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The ones I've seen, as far as like the big name films, it's Friday the 13th, like the most popular one I've seen. Different variations of it.
Mhm.
What made you dive to leather? Was it just because that you haven't seen much of it, or was it just like a passion for the character?
A little of both, but it was the fact that I've just never. I don't think it's been done correctly since the original. And I've always kind of felt there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that hasn't been made, and maybe they've been close, but still fall flat.
Hmm.
So I like overall, I'm not a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, other than the original.
Oh,
So I mean, I have to make that very clear to people. People get upset with me. Hey, you don't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? You don't like the remake? I know those are very, very popular films. I don't like them. And that's okay. I mean, I will never tell people that they're stupid for liking them or anything.
no.
It's a personal preference, but you can't deny that they're all very, very, very different than the original in tone, in pretty much everything, really. I think the remake was onto something, but a few things really dragged that movie down for me. And that's kind of where I started coming up with my ideas, was after watching the remake
Mhm.
back in 2003. I saw that in theaters. I was like first in line to see it because I was excited for it. Like I'm not
We
gonna
both.
lie to you, I was super super excited for it. And even when it started, it starts great. The movie is brilliant. It has a brilliant opening, and I just feel like the rest of the movie doesn't live up to that opening, and feel like it was a totally missed opportunity. And I mean, I can go into details on why I feel it's a missed opportunity, but that would probably take a long time, so I
And if
won't
you
get
want
into
to,
it.
go ahead. I
Ah,
will say this though, real quick, man.
sure.
It's fun. It's just funny you mentioned like as far as people you only like the first one. Me, I enjoyed all the ones that I've seen. I haven't seen them all, but I'm just going with the remake. The remake is actually I like the remake more than I like the original.
A lot of people do. A lot of people
And
do.
I think what it is for me is just the gore in it. Just for the type of just for the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the gore in it. I know the 70s was different. I do feel what I did love about the 70s one is you didn't see a lot. You see like the shadows or whatever, which I thought was amazing. And I don't think I can't think of another film that's done it that well to where you're not seeing the on screen, you're not seeing the kills on screen. You might see a shadow thing, or you might hear the sound effects from it, but you're not seeing.
Mhm.
I think they did that really, really, really well for the type of film that it is. But for the '03 one, I just love how you've seen damn near everything happen and just how gory and sinister and crazy it was. But I do understand where you're coming from. Like the opening thing where the girl shoots herself in the mouth, that was just fucking nuts. I was not expecting that. Pulls the gun out, you know where she pulls the
Yeah.
gun from. And yeah, so
Yeah, I dig that scene. I definitely dig that scene. I dig everything with the police footage at the beginning with John Larroquette's narration.
mhm.
Again, I just don't feel like the rest of the movie quite lives up to it. I mostly get taken out of it from the aesthetic. It doesn't feel like the 1970s for me. Mostly from the way the characters talk and the way the characters are dressed. Those things really kind of take me out of it. Leatherface kind of takes me out of it.
Okay.
He just doesn't feel like Leatherface to me. He doesn't feel like a real human being, I guess you could say. Whereas in the original, he was scary because you really believe that guy was out there. Whereas
Yeah.
the guy in the remake, he's what is he wearing? He's got all this heavy clothes on, and it just doesn't seem very believable to me. So
Mhm.
I think that's where those areas are where it really kind of falls flat. Other little things, obviously, like, she's got that meat cleaver towards the end, and, she chops his arm off with like 3 hacks, and it just kind of flops off. Like that would never happen. She wouldn't be able to get my arm off with 3 hacks, and that guy was big, this is a big
Yeah.
muscular dude. So, I mean, sure, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief there, but to me, it's kind of cringy. That's what I totally understand why people like that movie. I want to like it. I keep revisiting it just to see if I'm going to like it more, but I never end up really do, unfortunately.
I mean, again, going back to our earlier discussion, like everything is not for everybody, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. And like that's one thing I do love about movies, though, like all across the board, horror or not, is everybody has their own opinions about it,
Mhm.
and nobody's wrong. Like nobody can tell you how to
Yeah,
feel about a
exactly.
movie. I do hate the fact, you know how, and I'm sure I know you had to have heard this before, this term or this whatever you want to call it. And people say, "Oh, you're not a horror fan if you haven't seen such." I hate that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
hate
I hate that too.
if you watch horror, if you enjoy horror, you're a horror fan. You're not going to see everything. And my thing to that is like, okay, maybe this person was introduced to that film. Maybe
Yeah.
they just never heard of it. They weren't introduced to it. Who knows? Who cares if they don't like it? If you're someone who just watches the big names, cool. If
Yeah.
you're someone who just watches B movies, cool. You're a horror fan because you like horror. Like that's all it takes to be a horror fan is enjoying the genre of it.
I
Not
totally
just,
agree with that.
I
Yeah.
hate because I feel like horror is a very as far as like if you go to the cons and stuff, it's like a very inclusive environment.
Mhm.
All the bullshit, all the stupid shit, for the most part. Of course, you have your every group has their assholes,
Oh, of
but
course.
I feel like when you go to these cons, everything's dropped at the door. For one, race, sexual orientation, like that's not even brought up. You just go there talking about horror, getting autographs, buying cool shit, waiting in line. And I love waiting. Here's another thing about watching those type of movies is like when you're in line and you bring up a movie like Thanksgiving and people are like, oh man, I enjoy it. Like I love that movie. People are like, oh yeah, I love that movie. And versus, bringing up just for shits and giggles, like Halloween. Like everybody's seen, you know what I mean? A lot of people, not I'm gonna say everybody, a lot of people have seen that film versus like a movie like Thanksgiving. That's why I love watching those type of films as well. Because those conversations are more fun at times. Because it's like, you know, and it's bringing a light to these type of films. And that
Definitely.
another reason why I love doing these interviews with people like yourself that do these fan films is because it helps bring some sort of a light to it. Like, go check this out. And I can't wait for this film to come out. People, I already got the Blu-ray. I don't have it. I mean,
You don't have it. You haven't made the film yet. So
Yeah,
you won't have it for a while.
Film yet. I had the film. That's some magical shit, but I don't have it, people. But so yeah, like what can you discuss about the film? I know you can't say a lot about it, too much about it, I'll say, but what are some things that I guess what people can look forward to with your film? What set it apart? Because I know you're saying there's certain ones that you didn't like as far as the original series and the remakes and all that. What would set yours apart from those to make the fans enjoy those? Like what's going to grab them in?
I think the fact that we are definitely going for that same tone of the original, not trying to copy it, definitely trying to bring it into modern day, but we're setting it far back. We're setting it back, in fact, 8 years before the original. So technically
wow.
it is a prequel. I don't typically like to use that term though, because I mean, it kind of always puts a bad taste in my mouth because, prequel always kind of implies origin story. And I don't really think you can say ours is an origin story. It just kind of uncovers a few new layers, I would say, without going into spoilers. I can't, I wish I could say more, but needless to say, though, I mean, I think we tackle some things that were very relevant at that time in the mid 60s that are actually, somewhat relevant today. It was about finding parallels because I think that's one thing the original did very, very well was contrast what was happening in society at that time. And it really utilized it in a very subtle way. It wasn't, it was subtext, right? So keeping things in that subtext was very important to me when developing the script, and it wasn't really hard to do as far as that goes because let's face it, there's a lot of negativity going on in the world these days, and drawing those parallels from today to the mid 60s really isn't that difficult.
It's sad. It's sad that like with as advanced as we are in technology, we're not that advanced mentally as people, which is very sad. And I'm not talking about everybody, of course, just
of course,
in general. And I'll say that one more time, people. As advanced as we are in technology and all that other cool shit, as people and the mentality and all that stuff, we should be way past the 60s. We should be way past yesterday. You should be growing every single day, trying to be a better person, nice to your neighbor, nice to everybody.
And I think my film also asks the question, why aren't we? Why aren't we more advanced mentally? Why have we really not gone past a lot of these things? It kind of does ask that question to a point. And again, it's left up to interpretation. And I think that's something that I want to keep important because, at the end of the day, everybody's going to have their own take on why, So I have my own take on why, but I try to stay out of politics, and I try to stay, I think there's multiple reasons as to why the world is the way it is and the issues we have as a society. But again, it's subtext, people. Subtext. You got to look at little things in the film. It's not a political film, that's for sure. I definitely won't call our film a political film, but there's little messages here and there.
There's nothing wrong with that though. Like I'm with you on the political thing. I hate how everybody tries to make everything about politics. That's one. I hate how people treat politics kind of like a sports team. Like I hate to mention this guy's name because I can't stand him, but Donald Trump with the flags and all. I'm like, he's not a freaking sports team. He's not a country or whatever. He's just a person. And you're doing all this shit. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't even know you exist. He's just, go ahead and buy that flag. I'll, fatten my pockets up a little bit more and make you guys all fight amongst each other. But but what I was getting at though, really quick, what you were saying about like having maybe tiny bits of it just to kind of send a message. I actually think that's an intelligent thing to do, whether it's political or whatever it is, if it's a real life issue, because it's like people will, if you're watching the film or you're listening to a certain song, you're going to listen to it and you're going to take the message a little bit different than just
Mhm.
hearing a lecture about it thrown at you in your face. But if it's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
it's kind of subtle, kind of light or
Mhm.
whatever, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because, like, even the original, a lot of people would blame horror films like the original for a lot of the terrible things that happen in the world of all the serial killings and all that kind of stuff, and you know, they would get blamed for that. Horror movies have always kind of gotten blamed
Mhm.
for those kinds of things for the most part, whereas I
Yep.
don't think that they sure are to blame. I think if anything, horror movies actually make us more aware that this stuff happens. Because no matter what, these things happen. These horror movies are feeding off of those negative things
Mhm.
that happen, and makes us more aware. And I think it sends a strong message. We need horror films to really understand ourselves a little bit better, if that makes any sense.
I c- I can get where you're coming from with that. I mean, if you look at a film like Friday the 13th, for example, bullying.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, it
there.
starts out with Jason was bullied, and that's the reason why he ended up the way he was. But I mean, of course, there's more to it than that, and
Of course.
that's not saying you should take that route. Of course, it's a movie; it's supposed to just be enjoyment and entertainment. But I don't like. Again, are you saying people blame horror films or video games or music or whatever?
Mhm. Mhm.
What about before all this shit? Before movies were even invented, people were doing this shit. Like people were
Yeah.
always doing fucked up shit. It wasn't because, they didn't see it on a movie because a movie didn't exist. They didn't hear it in
Yeah.
a song because I'm not saying music didn't exist, but maybe that type of music didn't exist. They
Yeah.
definitely didn't play it from a video game because video games didn't exist.
Exactly. Did
All the
World
war,
War One and World War II happen because of horror movies or video games? No.
exactly. Christopher Christopher fucking Columbus discovering something that no, and all the violence. I'm just saying with all the violence and all that other shit.
Yeah.
If we learn about this shit in school, it's in history books.
Yeah.
It's
It happened.
everywhere. So it's not from it's nah, I just think it's a poor excuse. I'm like if
Yeah.
anything, if you want to put it on anything, and I'm not blaming America, people, so calm down with your America nonsense. Just look at how our country was built up though. It wasn't by, hey, how are you doing? Hey, let's trade this, can I have some of this land? You can have some of this. Here, let me buy it. Was no, give me it. This is mine now. That wasn't from books. That wasn't from, you know what I mean? That was from history. That's from shit that really
Yeah.
happened. Horror is just entertainment, and I love it.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. And, yeah, I hope that sort of mentality is sort of going away a little bit. I know in the '90s, it was really that was the mentality. "Oh, there's so much violence because of all the horror movies and the video games out there." I remember growing up in the '90s, and
Mhm.
that was the mentality that these things are causing violence. These things
Yep.
are causing bad stuff to happen in the world. Well, I don't think so.
I don't either.
I personally don't. I personally don't, and I think horror movies just they use that. They feed off of that, and, we can look at what happens in a horror movie, especially with the more realistic the horror movie is, you
Yes.
can look at it as a study on humanity, in my opinion. You can actually learn more about humanity, from a realistic horror movie.
I I honestly don't even, I mean, I agree with what you just said, but I don't even think it always has to be realistic because it
Not
kind of
necessarily.
shows you. I mean, I get with the realistic because you can kind of relate to it more, but it kind of
Mhm,
shows you how people would react in a certain situation. And
mhm.
then it's not necessarily horror. I believe they call it like drama slash thriller. But if you watched, wow, I just watched Squid Game.
I haven't seen it.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but all I was gonna say is there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in that awesome Netflix series. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens in that, and messed up shit, of course. But it's like it kind of shows you how people may really react in certain situations. Again, with horror, yes, some people do help each other out, but then there's people who are just like, you know what, fuck it, you're on your own. I'm gone.
Yeah,
And that's how it kind of is. I mean, shit. Last year, the pandemic, toilet paper, people, toilet
yeah,
fucking paper,
we'll never forget
toilet.
that. Who
Are
would
you
have
gonna
thunk it,
blame that
right?
on a movie? The greed that people like. Anytime that there's a place that has like, say, a bad storm. I mean, the pandemic was the first time that's happened in my lifetime. It's something crazy. But we could use the pandemic, use the bad storm. What do people do? They go to the store, they buy up everything because they can afford it, but then they forget about everybody else that can't afford that. It's like, how much toilet paper do you really need? Go in there and get the normal amount you normally get. Same with everything else. Get the normal amount you normally get, so everybody else can get it. Boom. But that just shows you once you're in trouble, you know what I mean? Once there's trouble or whatever, it's all about self. So that's not from movies, people.
It's not.
So stop blaming movies, especially horror movies.
From us not being fully adapted yet, I think, we've got growing to do. That's the ultimate message to me, is that humanity has still got a long ways to go. A long ways to go.
Hell yeah. It's sad, man. Like it's sad. Again, going back to this really quick, like just with something as simple as toilet paper. Like really, you're gonna buy. Like I've seen YouTube videos and all that stuff. I've seen people just having like their trunk full, like having an SUV full of just toilet. Like why? It's you and your 2 kids. How much do you shit for you and your 2 kids? When you usually get, say if you get like 24 rolls and that lasts you a month. Why now do you need 1,000 rolls? And people are probably still using that same toilet paper from last year, like the same, you know what I mean? The same. It's like, for what?
Yeah.
Why the regular amount you get? Everybody, then guess what? You run out. Oh shit! I can go back to the store and just get some more, like I usually do.
Really? No, you can't.
I didn't know it worked like that, man. I didn't know it worked like that. But let's get back to the Sawyer Massacre, which says coming soon. I can't fucking wait. I'm excited. I'm so excited for it.
I'm glad you're excited for it, and I know we won't please everybody, that's for sure, but it's the fact that we've had as many people excited about this film as we have. It excites me even more. That's all I can say about it. It's hard for me to think that the idea came after watching the 03 remake, and it's kind of slowly progressed, and it progressed to the point where I actually had a decent screenplay.
Awesome.
And enough people told me I had a decent screenplay and gave me advice on it, and it just made sense to just pursue it. And then the Indiegogo was kind of the next step, and that was a learning curve for me, learning how to do Indiegogos. Our first one was pretty modest. I think we raised maybe around $4K US on that first one. And I said, okay, after that, I'm like, okay, we'll take a break from Indiegogo, and I'm going to learn some stuff and do some more marketing and actually shoot some footage in Texas so that we can have a new trailer. And that's the trailer you're seeing these days is that one. And so we got authentic footage from Texas with our actors that are down there.
That's awesome.
It just went a lot better. And the second campaign did a lot better, and the third one we hit in demand. So I'm pretty happy about it. Would I like to raise more? Of course. I mean, movies aren't cheap to make, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I can't complain about raising over 30K towards a fan film. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that, and I'm very grateful to all the fans out there that are behind this. And I really hope I won't let you guys down. And we're definitely going to push to make the best possible film we possibly can. I'm a picky guy. I mean, I've been scouting locations in Texas for a long time because I'm not finding exactly what I want from the main location, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I like hearing stuff like that, because it's like you really, really have a passion for it, and you really want this to get out there to the fans, to the other fans of this genre, to the other fans of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in general, and you want it to be like, you want it to be great. Like, okay, oh shit, like not just because your name's on it, but you also want it to be like one of those films to where if you had nothing to do with it, you would want to sit down and watch it and really enjoy it. Like that's dope. That's dope. And right here, people, I mean, if you want to, Steve, I'm not kicking you out just because I have the Indiegogo up, because you mentioned it, I'm like, it's the perfect time to pull it up. But I see you guys have some dope things. You can get a t-shirt, special thanks, chainsaw trivia, the download, the DVD, VHS. People love VHSs nowadays, love them. Behind the scenes. What is that?
Behind the Scenes. They're actually one of our sponsors, and they came up with their own t-shirt design for it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Blu-ray. which this right here, people, every time I back a fan film, this is like the thing I try to go for
Yeah, the
is the
Blu-ray's been
Blu-rays
popular.
all the time. So yeah, people, go to this Indiegogo. The link is in the description. Go here and back the film. Back the film. Anything that you can afford, back it. If you can only afford $5-10, that helps. That definitely helps a lot. But this is going to be something, guys. This is going to be something that you're going to want to be a part of. You're going to want to back. You're going to want to check out. You guys seen the trailer in the intro. And make sure you go over there. Make sure you follow them on Facebook as well as YouTube. All that is in the description. But I'm really excited for this film. Like, I can't say it enough because again, going back to, I haven't seen one yet. I'm not saying there's not one out there, but I haven't seen one yet.
Oh, I have. I've
you have?
seen one that I actually like. One Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film that they captured tone quite well.
Okay.
And I wish it was more. I wish there was more story and stuff like that. But ultimately, they captured the tone. They shot it in Texas, where it needs to be shot, and that's another thing that's bothering me. Why are they not shooting these films in Texas these days? But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, he shot it in Texas, and
Nice.
I think for a fan film that was shot with a very low budget, like he shot his film for probably a tenth of what we're going to be shooting ours for. So you got to give him props. He did a good job, and that one's called Last Roundup Rolling Grill. So if you ever go on YouTube, just search that one. It's actually quite good. That's the only one that I would recommend, though there are a few others, but the other one that's sort of more high value is really kind of all style and no substance. There's just not enough. There's no real story to it, so I wouldn't recommend that. And a lot of the other ones look like they're made for $100 or something like that.
You said
free food
Last
for the
Roundup
cast and crew,
Rolling Grill. You said, right?
Yeah, Last Roundup Rolling Grill.
Okay, cool. Now, you're doing the movie. You said you're shooting it in Texas. So are you not from? Or you live in Texas?
No, I'm from Western Canada. I'm a ways away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we shot our first trailer 100% in Canada, and there are still shots from our trailer that were Canada.
Okay.
So it's actually probably about 50-50 in our new trailer. In that trailer,
Nice.
you guys saw that 50% of it was Canada, 50% of it was Texas. But I was happy to shoot stuff in Texas because it just made sense. It was going to capture the feel a lot better that we needed for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Plus, our actors down there are great. I didn't really have the best actors here in Canada to work with, just people that would do it for free, and a couple of them stood out, so we kept them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how that worked, and yeah, I'm really excited to go to Texas to do this. I've never really been to Texas other than the Houston airport, so this will be a huge experience for me. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope I would get the opportunity to drive down there. I doubt it with COVID, but man, it'd be nice if we could just drive to Texas and have an awesome road trip. I love road trips, so I would totally love to do that, but I don't know if we'll be allowed to. I'll probably have to fly.
See, and that's what I don't mind traveling. I don't mind going on a trip, but I'm like, I want to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I mean, for you, I guess Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but taking the road trip makes more, get you in the field. Like, listen, we're gonna drive down there. But
hopefully
that's
things change by March. Hopefully things are going to be different by March, and we'll travel across the border in an SUV or something. And
is that when you guys plan on shooting? Is in March?
In March, yeah. I've been informed that that's a really good time to shoot in Texas, and the availability of the cast and crew seems to be pretty darn good for March. So it makes sense for us to shoot it in March. We don't want to shoot in the dead of summer because, man,
too hot.
I've been warned from all the Texans down there. Please don't shoot this in July or August because it's so damn hot and everybody's going to get heat stroke. And yeah, so I mean, I said, okay, I won't shoot it in July or August. We were originally hoping to shoot like in September, or October of this year, but the COVID laws here in Canada didn't allow us to really do that. Plus, I was not finding the locations that I need. I found a few that will be acceptable.
There you
I'll
go.
say
Hey,
they'll be acceptable. They're okay. That I can use them, but I have a specific vision for this for Grandpa's house in our movie. Which our movie is very grandpa heavy. If you guys didn't know, it's set 8 years before the original, so Grandpa still speaks. And a little
oh,
known fact, well, maybe not too little known anymore, but in our teaser trailer, there is a specific voice that you'll hear that is voiced by none other than John Dugan, the original Grandpa himself.
that's
I
awesome.
won't say if it's Grandpa or not, but it probably is. He's actually probably voicing Grandpa.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then as far as I like how you're saying you want to shoot it in Texas because you get the actual feel of the film, all that great stuff. It's gonna be like, okay, we're in Texas. I'm doing this the right way. I'm doing this the right way. I respect that a lot. And then
I'm glad people appreciate that, and, I
yeah,
was gonna be ready to shoot it here in Canada if we didn't quite raise enough funds to make it happen, and it's gonna be much more expensive for us to shoot it in Texas than it is in Canada. Um, just me getting across the border is, all
mhm,
that kind of stuff is not cheap. But it meant a lot to me to do it right and get everything exactly the way I wanted it. I'm a stickler for doing things right and sticking to my vision. There's certain things I came through on already that I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to come through on. One of them being the chainsaw that we're using. Um, we're not using the same chainsaw that was in the original because our film predates the original by 8 years. So that chainsaw that was in the original actually didn't exist in 1965. So I went online to look at older chainsaws, and I found one that as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's the one I'm using. That's the one I'm using. And so immediately I went online to see where can I get this chainsaw, and everybody kept telling me, well, there's lots, but none of them work. You'll never find one that works, and if you did find one that works, the seller would never sell it to you, not in a million years. So I thought I was going on a bit of a wild goose chase just looking for the chainsaw, but eventually I did find somebody with that chainsaw, and they sold it to me. And I can happily say we have the chainsaw in our possession now, in our
and it
production
works.
in our production coordinator's possession, I should say, because she's got it in. She's actually in Alabama, but yeah. So stuff like that we've taken care of, and that little attention to detail like that I think is important, and I
I
just
think
want to
it's
make sure
huge.
the full vision sees the light of day, because man, when you got a vision, you don't want to compromise.
And see, and that's one thing I've discussed on this show and my other show I was telling you about earlier, Popcorn and Pints. Like, I love when films, again, this is going across the board for genres, when they have that small detail, like you said with the chainsaw, but you're actually having one from the 1960s. I'm sure the clothing would be from the 1960s because it
Hmm.
would for people that know what that chainsaw looks like. Let's say more so, people that have an eye for stuff like that know what certain things look like in that time period. They'll be like, "Holy shit!" They actually, instead of using the one from the 70s, let's say, because someone like
Hmm.
me wouldn't really know that much. I don't know shit
Yeah,
about
most
chainsaws,
people
so
wouldn't
but
know.
but I feel like I would now if you use one from like nowadays, I can tell that versus But I like how you're saying like I went and searched for this one from the 60s, found it, and got one, and like I think that's amazing, man. I think that's awesome. Just that small thing right there shows to me. I don't care what anybody else
Hmm.
thinks, but to me it shows like you said, the attention to detail. You really care. Like I really want this to be an authentic type of film. I want it to have that authentic feel. I'm shooting it in Texas. I want to have this older looking style. So I can't have, what I mean? I can't have a freaking a chainsaw from 2021 and a movie that I want it to look like it's from the 60s.
Yeah, it
And
wouldn't make sense, right?
not at all. If
Yeah.
you're gonna do that, you might as well have a 2021 Camaro in there as well. As well.
Exactly. Vehicles are actually my biggest obstacle right now.
I believe
Probably my biggest obstacle. I look at the main location I want as my biggest obstacle because I have something very specific that I want. But I mean, honestly, any location I put, you guys would the viewers would never know that it was not exactly what my vision was. But with
Yeah.
vehicles, if I put a car from the 90s or something, or even the 2000s, whatever, it's gonna be jarring. It's not
Yeah.
gonna feel right.
It's not.
So I mean, that's the thing. It is a big obstacle. Vehicles, that's going to it could eat a hefty budget for us, that's for sure. But I am looking around. I'm talking to people that, say that they might know who could lend us their vehicle for really cheap or whatever. And hopefully we'll be able to save some money there because, I mean, that's why these movies are expensive.
Yeah. No,
Some people would charge like $1,000 a day just for their vehicle. Right. So
and see,
that's pretty common.
I'm a car guy, so I understand. Like, I'm like, listen, this is my baby. Like,
There
hey,
you
you
go.
want it? It's one of those things where it's like, hey, you want to shoot one of my kids in a film? Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
But my car, my muscle car, it's like, I have to be there. Like, I mean, obviously you'd have to be there for your children too, but for the car, it's like, okay, so somebody else is gonna be sitting in this driver's seat, somebody else is gonna be driving. Okay, I have to be there.
Oh yeah.
But
Hey, I would be open to that though too. I mean, but
yeah,
some of these guys are so protective that they wouldn't do it at all. They wouldn't let you touch it, or you got to pay a hefty amount.
And and that part, I mean, on your end, I'm sure it sucks, but and then I like, again, being a car person, I get it because it's like, especially from those times, and then it's like, say something happens to that car, say if it's an all original, especially, then something happens to that. I'm not saying it would. But if it's one of those people that keeps it all original, all that, and they're like, okay, that's expensive to fix. That's expensive to get that one part or whatever. So I get it. But I'm hoping you guys can find something. I'm sure you guys will. I'm hoping you guys can find something for a fair price. Now, do you want just like one vehicle, or do you need like multiple?
We need 5. We need 5 vehicles. That's where our it's why these films aren't cheap. It's why I want to raise more money. We can pass with what we've got, but we might make sacrifices, like having to put an 80s vehicle in the car in the movie, which I don't want to do. I'd hate to have to do that, but if it comes to that, that's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, and sometimes she doesn't. But hopefully she will go, and and we'll just do the best we can. And I don't think people are necessarily expecting a Hollywood movie from a film that's going to be made for around $25K. It's but at the same time, I just want to deliver the best thing that I possibly can. So it's definitely a big obstacle I have at this time, but I'm networking with a lot of people down in Texas, and some of the people I've networked with are pretty confident that we'll be able to find what we need. So yeah, and at a reasonable price. I'm saving money in a lot of other areas. So at the end of the day, I think we're definitely going to be able to make this film for cheaper than we probably should be able to make it for. But at the end of the day, if I can save money in other areas, I will. Because I'd rather have the money to pay the actors and the crew, pay them more money. If there's leftover money, that's where it's going. Let's pay the people who are working hard on this film because they deserve it.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. And like, I'm hoping that everything goes as whatever you have in your mind, that vision, because I know you have some crazy ass vision that you can't let out the bag. You want to see it on film. I want that to happen for you because I feel it's needed. Like, yes, people can say it's a fan film of something that's, of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm sure you're going to put your own spin on it, your own twist on it, to have some other ideas with it. And one thing a big thing I love about fan films is whether it's just a whole fresh new story, or it's a fan film, a creation from, something from a historical movie like this, or Friday the 13th, or Halloween, or anything like that.
Yeah.
It all you guys always have your own spin and twist on it to kind of make it yours.
Oh yeah.
I love seeing that. And another thing I love about it is it's a passion project, because you're not making money off of it. It's an actual passion project. It's not like, which I'm not one of those people that hates remakes. I don't mind. If they're done well, I enjoy them. If they suck, they suck. But what I'm getting at with that, it's not like a money grab film. It's not like, okay, we're making this to grab. It's like, no, I'm putting money into this. My blood, sweat, and tears and finances are going into this. as well as
Definitely.
as well as a bunch of other people. And I respect that so much. I enjoy those films because it's like these people really tried. They're not making money off of this. This is 100% a passion. This is like it's a passion project at the end of the day. And let's I want to see this film get made. I want this film to get out there so people go. That $10 pack of cigarettes you're going to buy, put that pack of cigarettes down and put it towards
You don't
something
need
useful like
cigarettes.
this. You don't. And we want to see the cars from like 1965, 1964, in the 65 and back.
Yeah.
They needs 5 of them, people, just 5.
We need 5. We need 5. So if you're from Texas and you want to loan us your vehicle, we'll give you credit in the film. You'll see your name in the film if you let us use your car. That's all I can
Put
say.
it this way, you'll get a cool hookup if you guys see your name in the, if you lend them a car. And he said you could stay there on set. How many people get the opportunity to do that?
Exactly.
How would get the opportunity to do like that? All joking aside, that's a huge thing because you don't know what happens behind the scenes. You get to not only be on set, possibly befriend some people, possibly maybe be in another film that he creates. Like, hey, let's do something else.
There you go.
You never know the connections you can make by doing stuff like that. So yes,
Oh, for sure.
lend them money in cars, people. Simple as that. Just lend them a car, work out the details. It's a fan film, so be fair with your price. I understand coming from a car guy. I know I sound like a hypocrite, but be fair with your price. You'll be there. Go there with your babies, and just watch the whole time and enjoy it. Then you could say, "Yo, that's my car on screen. My car was in a movie." That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's real cool. You got to sell it to them. Come on, people.
And we could also give you an extra role in the film too. We have we have extra roles on our Indiegogo, and there's just so much room for those extra roles. I'd be willing to if somebody let us use their car, I'd definitely be willing to give them one of those extra roles for sure.
There you go, people. I know there's somebody right now with a car from 65 or older that's like, I want to be in a fun horror film, and I live in Texas. I wouldn't mind being in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. How can I? Boom! Here's your opportunity. Here's your fucking opportunity. Go for it, people.
There you go.
That's so cool though. Like, again, shooting it in Texas, the chainsaw from the 60s, like that. Those two things right there. And if you can get the third hump, which you will, people are gonna want their cars in the film. You'll get that. And I know he said the location is like a big thing for you, but
You'd rather for me, but I don't think it. Again, you look at the location we used in our trailer, which was in Canada, the farmhouse that we used. A lot of people love it. It's still not quite my vision, but it's a lot of people loved it. And again, that was in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, I would have never known where it was shot if you didn't say anything.
Yeah,
so
I mean, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought that we shot the very first trailer all in Texas, and none of it was Texas. It was all Canada. But people from Texas know, though. People from Texas are like, well, there's no mountains like that in Texas.
Yeah,
not like that, anyways. I don't think there's hardly any mountains at all. And we have pretty big mountains here in British Columbia, and it's kind of an eyesore. So when I actually recut the second trailer, I really tried to make sure I got most of those mountains out. I did more of the close up shots of the house and everything like that, and it worked out pretty well. I think it cuts well with the Texas shots that we did have. And like I said, you didn't know, right? You didn't realize that, hey, this shot here was Texas, then this shot was actually Canada. So I mean, it's if it's done well, you can fool people.
Yeah, you definitely could.
But I don't think a lot of Texas people are fooled. A lot of people from Texas probably not as fooled. And you couldn't fool me when they shot that last film in Bulgaria, which they're shooting in Bulgaria again. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe it's cheaper.
Okay.
I don't even know.
I guess there's a reason why it's cheaper in Bulgaria for some reason. I don't know all the details about it, but to me that shows that there's a lack of passion, in my opinion.
I agree.
They have the money to shoot it in Texas. Why not shoot it in Texas? I don't have the money to shoot in. I'm based in Canada. I'm probably going to spend an extra $10K that I normally wouldn't have to pay here, to shoot it in Texas. Then So I mean, that just goes to show you, I guess. You know.
Yeah, but that goes back to what we were saying earlier about how with a fan film, like you'll try your best to get it as accurate as you can, like as far as in your mind. Like, listen, this like you may have a huge vision board, and you're like, okay, I know I can't do this, and this, just mainly because of finances. But
Mhm.
this has to happen right here. These few things right here have to happen. Like location, it has to be like you want it to be in Texas. The chainsaw and the cars. Those three things have to happen. And it's like certain things, if I have to kind of ease back on, I will. But these
Yeah.
few things have to happen. Versus ones who do have the budget, like, okay, well, we can just shoot in this studio here. We can shoot anywhere. We have money to throw away, but we're gonna shoot in the studio here because it's cheaper. We can get this. But it's like, why not just make it as authentic as possible? And
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I hear you. That's exactly true. Just make it as authentic as you possibly can, and we're working with a budget, but I'm happy with where things have gone so far, and I've saved money in a lot of areas that a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to save money, and so, like honestly, this movie probably, if I really look at it, it should realistically cost around 100K, indie style. If it was a studio film, it'd be like 20 million or something like that. But but if I was not a resourceful enough person, it'd cost around 100K, but maybe even more. But I think I've been pretty resourceful. A lot of it's just making connections and
yeah,
finding people that are passionate enough about this film. And I've been lucky enough that I've met 3 DPs in the last while, and one of them is the main guy that we have attached. I'd like to keep him attached if I can, because he's like shot for Disney and stuff like that. He's got a
awesome,
big resume. He's got a big company. He's based out of Dallas, I think, and
nice.
and he's willing to lower his price from $650 a day all the way down to like 300 per day,
That's
just because he
huge.
loves the idea so much. He loves the script so much, and just really wants to shoot this film. Not a lot of those types of DPs are going to do that, are going to lower their price that much.
That you
It's
have,
still
yeah.
a little bit pricey for us right now, but I really want to make that happen. I want to keep them attached, and and get the most cinematic look that we possibly can. But I've had other DPs quote me $200 per day, so a little goes a long way. So
Yeah,
I have to, and these guys are all good at what they do. That it's an important job. You have to have somebody capable in the film. But at the end of the day, I if I can get the one we've already asked, then I would like to be able to afford him.
understand. Yeah, hell yeah, because you,
Yeah,
again, this project is like your baby. Like you want it to
it
be
is.
successful.
Mhm.
You want it to be successful. You want it to be amazing and great and all that stuff. And there's some things there's certain things you don't want to skip on, or you almost can't afford to
Definitely.
skip. Like
Mhm.
I can't skip on this. I can skip on this, but I can't skip on this. I can
Yeah.
skip on this, but I can't skip on that. And
But if I can avoid skimping on everything, I will. If I
oh, of course,
if I can.
that's the number one goal.
Yeah.
That's the number one goal. And I mean, people, seriously, go to that Indiegogo. Like I said, that pack of cigarettes you're going to buy, set it back. Don't get that.
Or whatever you spend your money. It could be bubble gum too, but
Yeah,
whatever you
just
spend your money on.
just if it's not a necessity, throw at $5. Look, if each of us $1, you could do $1. If you don't even want to get the Blu-ray or whatever, anything like that, if you can only afford to do $1, which is understandable in these times, $1 can help. You get
If
$1 from
if
100 people.
every Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan donated $1, I'm sure we would have $1 million to this film by now.
Oh, you'd have way more than $1 million.
There's a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Shit.
fans out there.
You
But
you
you know what? Granted, a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans are skeptical too. A lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans just don't want to see any more made. I deal with that, fairly often, because they've been burned so many times. And I'm one of them that feels like that. But at the same time, I just really want one that's good. Same like the new one coming out whenever it comes out on Netflix, I guess. I want it to be good. I really do. I don't think it
Yes.
will be, but I want it to be good. I really do. I'm rooting for it. I haven't heard good things about it yet, though, so I don't know what to say. I really, but my opinion might change after seeing it. You never know. Show me a
Mhm.
trailer at least, though. Geez, if it's supposed to come out this year, where's the trailer? Damn it! Oh, give us a trailer.
I know, but I don't think it's gonna come out this year. We'll see, but I mean,
Yeah,
time.
you're not the only one that thinks they've still got it
We'll
as
s
2021 though. They have You would think that they would have changed that by now. If they're
Yeah.
pushing it to next year, you would have thought that they would have done that by now. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's just gonna kind of show up on Netflix just suddenly.
That's
Like the
bad.
fact that they're putting on the fact that they sold it to Netflix and it's not going in theaters is a pretty big red flag, but
See,
alone.
I look at that a little bit different though, and the only reason why I say that is because of the whole pandemic stuff still going on. So they're probably like,
Yeah.
okay, they feel they can get it to more people going to Netflix than theaters because just around the world, let's just say just around the world or whatever, and it may be even cheaper to get it to Netflix. Might be easier to get it into Netflix. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But what I'm getting at is, it's easier to get people to get eyes on it with Netflix than it is in theaters, just because I'm sure in certain places around the world there's still like heavy lockdowns, so where the theaters aren't open in certain areas and all this. So it's like, okay, I want to get more eyes on. So I understand that aspect of it,
Oh
but the
yeah.
promotion of it, no trailer and all that, I'm like, that part right there doesn't make any sense. Like you
No
want
trailer,
eyes
no
on
behind the scenes images or anything. We've got
nothing.
nothing. We've got nothing but a single poster that came out like a year ago now. It came out a year ago, and I didn't really care much for the poster. I know a lot of people liked it. I'm kind of, I'm not feeling it personally, but you know, so I don't
What
know.
did you what did you think of because I know you said you loved the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You weren't too crazy about anything else that came up after that, as far as the I guess you would say the Hollywood films. I don't know what to call them, but what did you think of Leatherface? Or did you watch that
The
one?
last one that came out, because there's
No.
two movies called Leatherface in
Oh,
the series.
there
There's the
is.
last one that came out in 2017, and then there's Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3
Okay,
from
I didn't see part.
1990.
So the most recent, I have to watch part 3, but the most recent one from 2017.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It's again, you could tell it wasn't shot in Texas. I mean, it was that's beyond that. The story just didn't work as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film for me. The very, very obvious to me. It felt like they were trying to the best analogy best comparison I've really been able to give on this is that they're trying to turn Leatherface into Michael Corleone from The Godfather. If you
Mhm.
look at the parallels between the two characters, they're almost identical in from movie to movie. It's just that Michael Corleone's transition to becoming, going from being the good guy that was family to ultimately becoming the patriarch of his family, that was very, very natural, and it took, a long movie to really come to
Mhm.
that transition, but it always felt natural. You never felt like, boy, why did Michael do this all of a sudden? Whereas with Leatherface, it was just all of a sudden he's Leatherface. He went from hating his family in the mental institution and, basically, disowning them. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he gets his buddy dies at the hands of the cop, and now he loves his family. Now
Yeah.
he's Leatherface. So
See,
I didn't.
I have to go back and revisit it because I did enjoy it. But like just hearing people talk about it now, I'm just like, was it really? Did I really like it? Like, I gotta revisit it again. But like you're saying with the twist, the thing I didn't like about the twist is I feel like the guy that they killed off, his friend, should have been the one that was Leatherface because he was a bigger guy already.
Yeah, he
And
was a red herring though, right? And I got
yeah,
that. To me, made it too obvious that the other guy was going to be Leatherface. Yeah, I hear you. He should have been Leatherface. He actually
it would have
fits
made more
the.
sense because you
It
see him
would.
like just the things he went through, and you can
Mhm.
kind of be like, okay, so this a tiny bit makes sense. But I can see why a lot of people hated that. I can see why a lot of people didn't, because that one wasn't, that was one of those ones to where it was either you liked it or you hated it. There was no like, it was all right. I mean, I had fun. It was like you liked it, like I liked it, or you and a lot of people just did not like it at all. And I get why. Again, I have to go back and revisit it because I haven't seen it since 2017, since it came out.
Yeah, me too. It was a
Since it came
one-time
out,
watch for me. Yeah,
and
I mean, it just does not feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at all. I really didn't get Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes at all with the film. Um, some of
and I
the
know,
some of the writing just felt really bad. It was to me, it was a poorly written film.
do you think that was the worst one in your opinion?
Probably the one that came up before that was the Texas Chainsaw 3D. To me,
Oh,
I mean, they're close for me. They're close, but
see that one I didn't like either. Go get him, cuz I was just like,
oh
oh
yeah,
man, that right there just
that,
ruined the movie even
yeah,
more for me. Or you got
and
whatever she said, something cuz I'm just like, come on,
yeah,
like why?
do your thing, cuz
Do your
that's
there
the
it
one.
was. Do your thing, cuz.
That movie just was littered with bad dialogue and
And you know,
uh,
like when you first see the trailer, I was so excited when it comes out. When it was getting ready to come, I went and see it went and seen it in theaters, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is just like, why you guys dropped the ball in this. The trailer looked, from what I remember, the trailer looked exciting. It looked fun.
really, I see. I didn't find the trailer exciting. I remember that. I remember watching that trailer and thinking, well, this doesn't look for me, but you know,
See,
and I was right. Really wasn't. It really wasn't for me. But whereas I found the opposite with the Leatherface trailer, the Red Band trailer that came out, that didn't really give too much context. It was just
mhm.
had that creepy song kind of playing throughout and showing images. That actually made me think that Leatherface could actually be a good movie. I'm like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this movie will be good. And
Nope.
then
You're
they released a second trailer that had a lot more dialogue in it and it was more campy and cheesy. And I thought, okay, I wasn't wrong. It's just the first trailer just happened to be good, and because you can make a great trailer and still be a bad film, and you can make a bad
yes.
trailer and it still be a great film. It's just uh, that happens sometimes. But yeah, I know. I don't know. With Texas Chainsaw 3D, I pretty much knew going in I wasn't gonna like it, and I still went and I paid money for. And I'm mad at myself. I felt dirty after watching that movie. I felt so mad at myself for giving them my money to see a movie that I just knew in my heart was going to be awful, you know.
You know what's
And
funny
to
though?
this day, now I'm just still mad at myself for that. I'm still mad at myself for paying money to see that, and I
I
won't do it again. I just won't
do,
do it again.
all right, my question to you is, do you regret watching it though?
I don't regret watching it. I mean, oh, I try not to regret anything, but I don't like. I don't. I definitely regret paying to see it. But I mean, eventually would have watched it no matter what because I am a
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw because I love the original so much. The original is my favorite horror film of all time,
Okay.
and I just so badly want one to be good. I just so badly want one that's gonna gravitate to me, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I keep rooting for these films, and I'll always keep rooting for them. And maybe one day a studio is actually gonna do a good job. I don't know. I think that's the problem, though. I think that studios are the problem. The original was not a studio film. It was like a student film.
Mm.
And these filmmakers just did the best they could with what they had, and it was lightning in a bottle kind of thing.
I see, and
And
with you saying that as far as the studio thing, I agree with you on that. With a lot of things, with a lot of which I enjoy a lot of movies. Don't get me wrong, but
oh, yeah.
I wish, and I hope that with the success of these fan films that are coming out, and with the success that your fan film is going to have, I'm going to speak that into existence. I wish these studios would come to these people who create these fan films. They listen. We want to hire you to, we want to do a remake of, say, this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we want you to be a part of this. We want your input to be because I feel you're pulling from people that enjoy these films. You're getting these ideas. You know what I mean? Like, hire the people that really enjoy this genre, that enjoy this film. So you're a fan. You're a fan of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Maybe if people are still around that created the film, you guys work together and come up with something. I think that would be an awesome
Yeah,
concept.
I would love that, but
because
the likelihood of it, I don't know, but I would love that.
and I'm getting at that because it's like a lot of these fan films are getting to be better than these Hollywood films. Just like even if their production might not look as good, the sound might not look as good, but the story is like 10 times better. The idea is like 10 times better.
Mhm.
And it's like, why not give these people a shot? Like put some money behind these people, back these guys that, have a passion for it. Because yes, I know with Hollywood and all that, yes, it's a money grab. I understand that. But why not, if you're gonna make it a money grab, make it for people that are passionate about it? Because then what's gonna happen is, oh shit, yo, this was fucking amazing. This was great. I'm gonna go see this again next weekend. Or
Yeah.
I want to see what else they can do. I want to see a sequel to this, even though we've seen these movies again, just using Texas Chainsaw Massacre as an example.
Mhm.
I want to see a sequel to this. I want to see a sequel to that, but they're just, I don't know. It's like, come on, let's get these fresh ideas, because I know people pull out, we'll pull like John Carpenter and all the great directors and all the creators. So it's like, why not try to find not the next, but you know what I mean? Like, why not try to find that next big possible name from how I feel horror started was a lot of low budget films, a lot of low budget this and that. And then Hollywood got their hands on it and they were just like, okay, we see that fans are going to gravitate. We know these horror fans are going similar to how like comic book fans are as far as the comic book movies.
Mhm.
Whatever we put out, they're going to go out and watch it. Whatever we put out, which, I mean, that may be bad on our part to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, you guys do put out good stuff, but give these creators, these independent film creators, these fan film creators, that same budget you give to these studios, and I bet you they'll blow it out the water. I know they will, because they damn near make a better movie with not even a quarter of the budget.
The problem here is, and this does happen, just so you know. I mean, so studios will hire a lesser known director because they like their vision for a film or whatever. But the problem I always see is that the studios still stick their necks in. They have to
They have to take a back seat. They have to sit.
I
Listen.
wish they would take a back seat. That's the problem. They won't take a back seat. Studios are like, okay, we hired you. Show me what you got. And if they don't like it, you're fired. You're fired, and they're still making the films. You're just,
Yeah.
You're making the film that they want you to make. So if I ever did get hired by a studio, I feel like that's what would happen. I feel like that probably happened with the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that's still yet to come out, because those directors were fired like a week into filming.
Wow.
And my sense at that time, the sense was they had a vision for this film, and the studios didn't agree with it. So because they refused to do what the studios wanted, that was it. And they brought in some other guy just like that. And the studios like to be the puppet masters. It's and in a lot of cases they know what they're doing, because at the end of the day, they have a formula that makes money. It's all about the formula that makes money. But I think sometimes they don't realize that it's not going to make money for everything. That same formula isn't going to make. It's going to work for this, but it won't work for this.
Exactly. But that's why I'm saying they need to. What I feel they should do is, look, we're going to hire you guys to create this film. We're going to back it. We're going to sit back and watch you guys do it, because we do want to slap our name on it. We do want to take some credit, but we're gonna hire you for it. But it's like you got to trust the creators to create.
Yeah,
you have to trust the creators to create. Stop putting your little, maybe we shouldn't put this in the film. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Because it kind of, for us diehards, it's like, fuck, man, I knew this was gonna happen with this damn movie. Blah 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 blah. All the shit we complain about with the remakes that we go and watch every single time they fucking drop. Every time that they drop, you're complaining. Not everybody, but there's a select few that are like, oh, they should have did this, they should have did that. It's like, okay, let's have these people who are actually fans of this genre, not only fans of this genre, but this franchise, so to speak, and they're really gonna dive deep and really dig into something, whether it's a prequel, a sequel, whatever, a remake, reboot. They're really gonna dig deep and bring you what the fans want to see, because they talk to their fans of the film. They're friends with fans of the films. They talk to fans of the films, and they're like, okay, we basically all want to see the same thing for the most part. The grand scheme is you basically want to see the same thing, but we'll change this. And then the studio's like, okay, well, I understand where you're coming from. I know that the fans of this genre and the fans of this specific franchise, they want to see this. So we'll take 2 of your ideas and then we'll put our 47 in here. Matter of fact, we'll take 1 of your ideas and we'll put it like in the middle of the film, but we're only going to use about 2 minutes of it instead of that whole. It's like, why do that? Matter of fact, you know what? We're just going to use your idea for the trailer to draw them in. And then you go there and you're like, what the fuck is this? The trailer was the best part of the damn movie. Like, studios, wake the fuck up and listen to the fans. Hire these awesome creators, seriously. And let them
so, man. It's
creators create, and you'll get some amazing shit. And I keep going back to when these films, which I wasn't born for them, of course, but when these films first came out, and like you're saying, you said this was like a school student film, and other films have came out just where people are just like, I want to make a movie, whatever, and they did it, and those movies ended up becoming classics. Like,
yeah,
this movie's from what, 73 or 74, right? The original?
Made in 73, but came out in 74.
And we're still talking about it in 2021. And I know that deep down, Hollywood, you want that to happen. You want a film that, say, drops in 2021 to be talked about in 2050, 2060, or whatever. If we're all, if the world's still around. You want
who knows?
Down the road, you know what I mean? And to where people are going to cons because Steve's going to be there. Because Steve Merlo is going to be there for his awesome film that he created with the Sawyer Massacre. It ends up being, like a huge film to where it can go to the big screen and all that stuff and all that great stuff. You're going to want to go there because he's going to be at this con. That's what we want. We want that next, again, I don't want to say that next Carpenter, but you want that next big name, those next big name of people, but new, to where 30, 40 years down the road, you're like, oh shit, yo, did you guys see that Steve Merlo film? Oh, now they're starting to do variations of his film. Now they're doing variations of, his team's film and stuff like that's what we want. That's what we need. Some fresh, yes, fresh ideas, of course, but still, like, with our remakes, we want people that do the remakes and create the remakes, either from the original, as far as being a part of the creation, or an actual fan of the film, not just, oh shit, I know people really love Halloween because my mouse is doing it. Let's just, let's do this, guys. Let's do this. All right, cool. I know people are fans of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and everything else, but let's not involve people that actually love it. Let's just do this because we know people are going to come see it. And it's again, I don't hate remakes. I'm one of those people. I'll watch a remake. Some are great, some suck. I said, I loved the 03 remake. You weren't a fan of it. Cool. I loved it. It's my favorite. It was exactly one of my favorite remakes, honestly. But
and that's okay.
Yeah, no, it is. But
I'll never diss anybody for liking that film. I'll definitely never. It's for any film. But it's it has its fan base more so than a lot of remakes do. So I have to give it that.
I think it's because, as gritty and dirty as the film was, like, I get what you're saying though. With certain things, they could have kind of did different with they could have did things a little different with the visuals and all that. Maybe made it not as sexy as it was. As gritty as it was still sexy. Yes, because of Jessica Biel, but still, like, there's just, I don't know. That probably does take away from it for some a little bit, but I thought they did a great job with it. I really do with that one. But I still feel if I'll just use you as an example, someone like you can created something like that. As far as having that budget, it could be amazing. It can be amazing.
It could be.
That's what I want to see is creators like yourself, directors like yourself, producers, all that good stuff, fans of this genre of the films, to be the ones to get that budget that they really deserve to really, like, push the envelope. Because horror is one of those. What's funny about horror nowadays is it's still like an outcast. It's like a popular outcast, as weird as that sounds. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because you have, like, all these horror films that were dropping over these past few years, good or bad, and, like, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Which is, it's cool for horror. I love how horror is the outcast, but it's like, if we're gonna push horror up to that shine, which horror should be winning awards and all that, but I don't believe in those bullshit award shows. But
me neither.
If we're gonna be, it's like, let's let these people who really, like, perfect examples, Marvel. The Marvel films, for the most part, are great nowadays. Why? Because I'm sure they have people that actually care about that genre, that care about those, you know what I mean? To where it's like, I know Stan Lee had his hand in it when he was here. He was in a lot of his films just as a cameo, so I'm sure he had his hand in it. And it was like, yes, let's do the same for horror. Let's get people and creators who are really a fan of that genre, that subgenre, that film or whatever, and give them the shine instead of just making it a money grab. And then you still make money, great money, even more money, because then you have the merch, you have all that other stuff that people are going to want to buy, not only when it comes out, but 20 years down the road. You're still going to want to get that. You're still going to want to get that.
Exactly.
And I just can't wait, man. I can't. It's one of those things to where I feel one day it will happen. I just hope we're all here to see it. I really do. But
you know, it's kind of happening with fan films these days. I think the way, because fan films are getting better and better. It's not just you know, low budget fan films. I mean, Never Hike Alone was pretty much the film that kind of solidified that, right? I think it's because we are putting forth better quality films on a lower budget, on still a pretty low budget. You know, just shows that, geez, this is what's possible. Never Hike Alone is one of my favorite Friday the 13th films.
Nice.
I'm not a big Friday the 13th film fan, mind you, but I'm not the biggest Friday the 13th fan. But man, I saw that movie. I'm like, they did something different, and it looks it's quality, and it's made at a fraction of the budget that these other Friday the 13th films are made at. So I mean, if it can be done, why not do it? You know, it's just I hope it's waking up Hollywood a little bit, seeing the better quality fan films that we're seeing. We're seeing really good Halloween fan films. We've got It's Me Billy by Dave McRae and Bruce Dale. They did their Black Christmas fan film. Really high quality. They shot that on a budget of like $40,000 or something like that. And it looks fantastic. You know, it looks cinematic. It looks like Hollywood. And it's so much better than the Black Christmas that Hollywood put out in 2019. You know, what the hell was that shit? What the hell is that? You know, that's embarrassing.
Since you brought that, oh no, you can swear in here all you want. Since you brought that one up, man, that was fucking terrible for one. The films like that where they use the title for the, you know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, this is going to drive people because we use the same title from the original. And of course, the remake from the 2000s, I did enjoy that one. That one was good. But it's like, just give it a different title. And I feel like people would have enjoyed it more. Give it a different, because it wasn't Black Christmas to me.
It really wasn't. No.
Call it freaking Sorority Christmas / or something, but not Black Christmas, because I don't know what the hell that was, but it wasn't Black Christmas.
I didn't even go see it, but I feel like I did see it because they showed the whole movie in the trailer. They really did. I mean,
I seen it, and I didn't go to the theater to see it. I did see it though, and it.
Yeah, it's.
I'll never tell people not to watch a film. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, watching those shitty films makes you appreciate the ones in the middle a lot more. But that film, it sucked. If you go watch it, I don't recommend it. But again, I'll never tell you not to watch a movie. It was still better than Blood Lake by a lot, but that's not saying much.
At the end of the day, though, you know, you've got It's Me Billy shot on a $40,000 budget. You've got Black Christmas 2009 shot on a $4 million budget, or probably more than that. Probably way more than that, actually. And you know, It's Me Billy's got just that much more fan base now. It's just that much better. I mean, I can't bring myself to watch the 2019 Black Christmas. I won't. And It's Me Billy is just I have my issues with It's Me Billy as well. But you feel like, okay, they're being faithful to Black Christmas, and it really does feel like a proper sequel set in modern times. So I mean, yeah, any fans of the original are definitely going to appreciate what they did.
Yeah, and like you just said, like with the It's Me Billy, you did enjoy it. You had your issues with it, but you did enjoy it. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that, people. If you could like a film and still nitpick it. You could love a film and still nitpick it. We're all gonna do that. That's just what we do.
Oh yeah.
And I guess I gotta check out It's Me Billy. Definitely gotta check that one out.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. And again, you might, you know, there's a few, again, I am a nitpicky guy. I can look at certain things and and say, "Well, this didn't work for me," or "This didn't work for me." But I can say that about my favorite films of all time,
Oh,
though, too.
yeah, of
You know,
course. Same here.
and sometimes when I talk about my nitpicks, maybe I come across a bit harsh on certain things, and people go, I thought this was your favorite film. I'm like, it is, but I mean, I do see flaws. Nothing is perfect in my opinion. There's no perfect is kind of I don't like that word. I don't think anything's perfect. I think our flaws are kind of what make us unique,
Yes.
and we have to accept that there are flaws in everything. And I think that when we can actually see those flaws, then we actually might even appreciate them a little bit more. And
I
so, I
agree.
mean, it's not a perfect film, but for a fan film made for $40,000, uh, around there, anyways, I think it's pretty damn good, and it makes the 2019 Black Christmas look terrible. It makes them look bad.
I'll tell you right now, man.
And
The 2019 Black Christmas makes the 2019 Black Christmas look terrible because again, it wasn't a Black Christmas film. It
yeah,
was it had the title, but it wasn't. No, that's just a no.
well, if there's no Billy, it's not Black Christmas, in my opinion. That's
It,
kind of Billy is your antagonist.
it's
You
important.
take
It's
away the
important.
antagonist, it's not. You know.
They should have just again they should have called it something completely different. Something
Totally
they could have
agree.
used. They could have even had Christmas, but just use something different. Use Dark Christmas, whatever.
Yeah. Or a lot of people were suggesting Slay Girls
Or
because
that
I, you
maybe.
know. So
Just
yeah, I mean, again, I haven't seen it, so but I mean, I have seen it because that trailer showed the whole movie. They
base, yeah.
really did. They laid all their cards on the table with that trailer, and it was. I'm like, I, I never. I just. Probably never been a trailer that really showed the whole movie like that trailer did. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do when you think about it, but I finished watching. I'm like, I just saw the whole movie. I saw the whole
Yes.
movie. They showed the whole movie. I know they just told us everything in that trailer, and terrible. Whoever cut that trailer should be fired. Whoever cut that trailer, fire
You,
their ass. Fire
you
their.
should say the same thing about that film though, because at least with the trailer, you saved what was the trailer 2 minutes. You watched 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and you seen everything. I watched the whole
Yeah,
damn movie,
yeah.
and
There you go.
I don't regret it, and I don't want to erase it out of my mind because then I just go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
If you erase it out of your mind, like let me go check this out. It might be fuck, and I'll tell you this: I'll never watch that film again unless I have to review it. That's how I am with certain movies that I just don't like.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll watch if I have to review it for the show. I'll watch it and I'll give you my honest opinion. But if I don't have to review it, I'm not gonna watch it. I am
There
not
you
gonna
go.
watch it because for what?
Why?
I've
What's
already
the
seen it
point?
once. I'll give any
Yeah.
movie a one-time chance, and
Yeah, I've had my share of one-time watches, but
oh, plenty.
I am one of those guys though that does try to avoid bad movies like The Plague. So I avoided that one. I saw the trailer. It
Oh, not me.
it did nothing for me, so I avoided it. I said, "No, that's it.
No,
I'm not being
I'm
suckered into this one." There was
I'm
nothing
the
really in
opposite.
it to sucker me in, though.
I'm the opposite. If someone's like, "Yo, Aaron, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. You got to check it out." Guess what I'm gonna do?
You gonna check it out?
I'm gonna go check it out just to see if it really is that bad. Because for me, it's which I actually want to share my screen and show you something really quick. But for me, it's one of those things to where look at this. So somebody's saying that this is the worst film they've ever seen. I just want to pull this up really quick. In this horror group, A Night to
Huh.
Dismember came out in 1983,
Hmm.
and they said
Never heard of it.
avoid worst film in existence. Guess what? I want to see that. And if one of my friends shared it in our group chat, and so he put up. Let me show you this one GIF he shared because I do have, which I'm going to tell you guys about it really quick. But let me just show you what he shared in the chat because it's funny because it is a new challenge for us. New challenge alert approaching. But I have an open challenge, and this goes to you too as well, man. And anybody listening or watching or whatever, whether you're listening to the live or you're gonna catch it on the replay. But if you can find, listen, here's the thing: you have to find a film that is worse than Blood Lake. That's the first part. first you got to watch Blood Lake.
Does it have to be
And then you
horror?
yeah, because it's horror. And then you find a film that's worse than Blood Lake after you watch it yourselves. Submit it to me, and me and whoever's on that episode with me, and you can be included on it for the person that submitted the film. If the total review from overall is worse than the review we gave for Blood Lake, you're gonna win. Which I don't have one up here with me, but you're gonna win a Horror with Sturdy t-shirt, so similar to this hoodie, and a Horror with Sturdy mug.
Cool.
And that's how confident I am that it's not going to happen, because that movie was just, like I told you guys, it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and it's on Tubi, so you don't have to pay to watch it. Like, it's on Tubi. For those of you who know what Tubi is, it's just and the title sounds awesome, but that's the best part of it, is the title. Blood Lake.
Yeah, the title is not bad,
but it's
it's that bad, huh? I gotta see it now. Yeah. Now I am curious. I'm gonna check out a trailer first.
Good luck.
I usually do that. I always want to check out a trailer first.
See, and I just dive right in. Yeah. And with this one, this was going back to when I was saying, me and my friend would just think of like, let's just pick a movie by either the cover or the title. Funny thing about this, right? So there's another movie called Blood Lake: Attack of the Lampreys. I watched that one, and we were supposed to be watching the one that I just showed you guys. And my friend watched this one we were supposed to be showing you guys. So I was like, fuck. He was like, you're watching the wrong movie, because I always post what I'm watching in like the horror group and stuff. So I ended up I watched these movies back. They both sucked, but this one was just way worse. Worse. So I watched them back to back. He ended up watching this because I was like, let's just review it. They have the same name. Let's just review them both. Ended up doing that. And long story short, I ended up watching the shittier Blood Lake twice for this podcast, because I wanted other people to see it and review it with us. And yeah, it was... but there is 3 people that said they like this film. Like I had a gentleman on last week, Tony, which SLV Horror. He loved the film. He has it on VHS. Someone else was in the comments, said they really enjoyed the film. And then my friend Matt has a film on Blu or DVD, which Matt just collects everything. And he said he liked it. He didn't say he loved it. He said he liked it. So it's, I don't know. It's a watch at your own risk type of movie for me. It's a watch at your own risk. But again,
let me ask you this:
I'm listening.
Is it a so bad it's good kind of movie, or is it just really bad?
No, it's so bad it sucks. Like, okay. I love this because I would enjoy it. Like, for me, Thanksgiving, I love the movie. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
About a killer turkey. But it's one of those. It's one of those films where Thanksgiving is so bad it's great. It's amazing. It's funny. They knew, like, when you watch the film, you know what you're getting. It's about a killer turkey, so you know what you're getting with that. And on top of that, it's funny. Like, there's just stuff you can pull from it. There's funny one-liners. Yeah. It's just a fun film. It's a fun film.
It didn't take itself too seriously.
Boom, right there. And with the Blood Lake, you're like, okay, that title sounds awesome. You're like, okay, it's gonna be maybe something to do with water, maybe a really cool slasher. I'm not gonna tell you guys what happened in it. You guys can go back and watch both the reviews we did on it, but it was just god awful.
Okay.
Like, and I believe one of the directors, I don't even feel like looking his name up, but one of the directors did go on to do like actual good films, so that's cool. But everybody else, I don't know what happened. But
I am definitely interested. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna have to just kind of check it out and see if I can make it through. And
and that's why I have the challenge, because it's like as crazy as this may sound, people, I want to see something worse. Like, I really want to see worse movies than Blood Lake. I don't know why. And I'll speak for myself. I know there is other horror fans that are like that. Like, when I just told you, yo, Aaron, this movie sucks, I want to see it. Or yo, Aaron, this movie sucks. I'm like, oh, I got to check it out. I got to see it. Why? I don't know. I'll even go towards those sometimes more than, yo, this was the best fucking horror film I've ever seen in my life. Because then it's like, your expectations are just like up here, especially if you respect that person's opinion on films. Your expectations are way up here, and it's just like, even if the film was good, but it didn't reach up here for you, you're like, that's kind of tough. Versus if a film's just like, yo, this is flat out garbage, it's down here to where you can't even see, and you watch, you're like, that wasn't that bad, or it sucked, but I was expecting that. Kind of, it's a little weird thing, but people, if you want to enter that challenge, watch Blood Lake first before you try to do this. Because I have, shout out to my boy Sean. He was talking. We were talking like a group chat or whatever, and he was like, "I guarantee you, I have 4 films that are worse than that." I was like, "Listen," I was like, "I like the confidence. Watch it first." He watched it. He was like, "Fuck, what the fuck am I watching?" He was like, "I take everything back I just said. I apologize." And I mean, hey, it's fun too, because again, going back to getting a light on these type of films to where it's like, yo, I've seen Blood Lake. I'm not happy. I'm not proud of myself for watching it twice, but I did see it. And again, that brings in those more fun conversations of, have you seen this first? Everybody's seen, and then it also gets you into like the indie films, like when this comes out, for example, the Sawyer Massacre. Like, yes, I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Have you seen the fan film version of it? This is freaking amazing. It's better than 97% of the movies they put out. It's better than this, that, and the third. You guys got to check this out. And people, go check out the Indiegogo. Again, go back it, check out the trailer again. $5, $2, whatever you can afford. Put that pack of Skittles down. You don't need that right now. Put it towards the Indiegogo. Put it towards the Indiegogo.
Skittles do come in so many great flavors,
I mean, do both. Get some Skittles. Get some Skittles, right?
Lemon.
Throw another $5 towards this. Eat some Skittles and watch the trailer. Boom. And then when the film comes out, get the film. Enjoy the film with some more Skittles.
There you go.
It's gonna be great, people. I think it's gonna be great. Just talking to Steve about it, like his visions of it, and then your visions of just films in general, and being a fan of the genre. That's one thing I love about fan films, and obviously it's in the name, fan film, but you're a fan of that genre. You're a fan of that franchise. You're a fan of that film that you're creating. You're not just doing it for a money grab, because they don't get paid for these films, people. So go back this film.
I pay to make these films.
He can get it shot in Texas. He can get the cars he needs, and he can get the location he wants. The actors can get fed and paid, and he can have a great time. They can all have a great time. And again, lend your cars, people.
Yeah, that's the big one for us.
Don't go over.
We're definitely shooting in Texas. That's 100% guaranteed. We're shooting it in Texas.
So they're shooting it in Texas. We want that, right? We want that. They're shooting it in Texas. We need the car. And I forgot to mention the chainsaws from the 60s.
Actually, the chainsaw is actually from the 50s, believe it or not.
Even better. The chainsaw's from the 50s. And the reason why I say even better is because it's like, I don't know how often people buy chainsaws. You get one that works, and it works for you for 10, 15, 20 years. Awesome. Don't got to buy new. It works just as good as the new ones do. Just maintenance or whatever. So even better. Why is it even better? Because he had practice with it from when he was... You guys know where I'm going with that. Back this film, people. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? We all love horror, right? We all want to see more horror. We want to see more Texas Chainsaw Massacre for sure. I know I do, and I know you do as well.
Definitely.
Go there, throw $10 to the film, $20, whatever you can afford. I'm not gonna tell you the amount, whatever you can afford. Me personally, I went and got the Blu-ray. You should do the same. Just saying. Be like Sturdy. Get the Blu-ray. And let's get this film out there, people. Let's get the funds up for it. So everything that my guy Steve over here envisions can happen. And then we can all just sit in our seats like this, like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing. And not only that, I mean, you could sit in the seat watching the film with some Hemparita. Just
there you go.
The greatest CBD. It's legal in all 50 states. That's perfect. 21 years and older, use responsibly, of course. But the best CBD shooters, the best CBD gummies you can have on this planet. ihemparita.com. Use promo code SIR.STURDY. Save yourself 10%. You spend over $50. Guess what? Free shipping. And that money you save can be spent to go back this film. Stop wasting time, people. Go check it. Check out the Hemparita. Check out the Texas, the Sawyer Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film. That should have been that difficult to say.
An
But I'm saying
unofficial prequel.
an unofficial prequel. And if you're in Texas where they're shooting and you have a car that's 1965 or older and you want your car to be in a film, now's your chance. You want some
Exactly.
film credit, now's your chance. You want to possibly be an extra, now's your chance. I mean, I'm not in Texas. If I was in Texas, I would figure out a way to try to get on set. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in New York, Albany, New
Oh,
York.
you're in New York. You're closer to Texas than I am, but
Yeah, but still super far. Still far though. But I am closer than you are. But what I'm getting at is, you're in Texas now. You're like looking at your car, your 1964 Chevy or Ford, and you're just like, man, if I could just get this in a film, here's your shot. Here is your shot, and you could possibly be in the film, or at least behind the scenes. And we don't get to see, but I don't get to see behind the scenes shit. You do if you put your car in this film. That's awesome. Hollywood won't do that for you. They won't.
definitely not.
No, we have your car. You get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
There's no reason not to. Again, chainsaws, blood, Texas. Do you have the link for the Indiegogo? Yes. Yes. Oh, somebody just posted it right there. There's the link, and I'll even post it again for you guys right under the comments as well. But the link is also in the description. The link is also in the description.
And feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, in the Facebook page for the Sawyer Massacre. I'm also on Instagram too, chainsaw_Sawyer on Instagram. And if anybody has any questions about anything in the Indiegogo or the film itself, I am very, very responsive to my messages, because I want to ensure the fans that they know exactly what kind of film we're making and what kind of passion is going into this.
Tons of passion, people. Loads and loads of passion. And again, I say this because it's like, you're a fan of the film, you're a fan of the franchise, you're creating this film. He's not gonna make any money off this film. If that's what stopped you, like, oh, he's just doing this for a money grab. That's not how fan films work, people. That is not how they work at all. They're not. He's doing this because he's a fan of it. He wants to see this vision come out. You guys should definitely check this awesome film out. I'm not sure who Facebook user is watching right now, but thank you for your comments. And hey, people, we're gonna talk for a few more minutes if you have time. That is. If you have any questions for him,
yes, shoot me a question. I'm happy to answer them live.
Questions, comments, all that good stuff. Shoot him a question, and he can't spoil the film.
I can tell you little tidbits here and there, but it does take place before the original 8 years to be exact. Grandpa has a pretty cool role in it. Grandpa has a cool role in our teaser trailer, and we actually had original Grandpa John Dugan provide the voice for the very first time for Grandpa, because 8 years before, I just figured it made sense that Grandpa could still speak.
I agree.
Well, it was important for me to not try to recreate Grandpa from the original, if you know what I mean. How much footage have I shot already? Well, just the footage for the trailer. We only shot footage so far for the trailer. We are aiming to begin the actual production of the film in March. That's our set scheduled date for beginning of production. But
and again,
the only footage we've shot is for that promotional trailer.
And again, people, it's going to be shot in Texas. That's huge. That's big right there. So it's going to be like more authentic than just shot anywhere. It's going to be shot in Texas. So that awesome. Good luck with that.
Thanks.
But what I was going to say, anybody who has the Facebook user as their name, if you want to, I'm not saying you have to, but the top link, click that link, something about Restream. What does it say? If you want your name to show up, your name and your photo to show up when you comment and when we pull it up, hit that top link. Be here for a few more minutes, maybe a good 10, 15 minutes-ish. But if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to let them come in. You could talk the whole damn time if you want. But this is definitely something you guys want to back and check out because it's going to be amazing. And like I said, fan films don't... He's not trying to make money. He's not trying to make money. That's not what fan films are. are. He's trying to put out
Not about money, that's for sure.
an amazing project, and let's support it. You know, again, from 100 fans, $5-10 goes a long way.
Oh, definitely.
Let's
Every little bit helps, and share. Just share as much as if
exactly.
not everybody can afford it, but we've got a lot of stuff that you can share. But even besides the Indiegogo campaign, you can share our Facebook page, and yeah, just the more you share, the more people know about it, and we want to get this out to the fans, all the fans that want to see this movie made.
Have you shooting a 16?
Oh, like shooting on actual film? Part of me would love to, but it knows that would be super, super expensive to do these days. It's more and more rare to do that. Everything's so digital now. I mean, I love the look, but I don't think that it's feasibly in the budget to shoot on 16 millimeter. But man, I would love the look though. So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very. From what he's saying, I don't know anything about shooting film, so I'm not even going to pretend that I do. But hey, if you want, I'm not saying this Facebook use. I'm not saying this at you per se. But if you guys want the film to be shot on something like that, we got to back this thing and get that budget up, skyrocketed, so that they would be able to afford to get whatever equipment and all that other stuff and people they need to do that with. But hey, seriously though, for people, and again, I understand times are rough. If you can't afford to back the film financially, like he was just saying, that share button goes a long, long way. Everybody share it 3 times a day, every, say, 5 hours. We have a bunch of stupid shit that's always flooding Facebook, a bunch of political bullshit that's dividing people. Let's share this type of stuff that's going to bring us together.
Yeah,
because we all love horror. And
bring the community together. That's
with horror.
What it's all about. Yeah.
And it's October now. It's a perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, spooky season's 24/7, 365. But it's October now. Halloween's like our Christmas. This is more of a reason to, really throw the money at it now while you can. That doesn't mean stop in October though. Do it November, December. Just keep doing it. Let's get this film out here, people. I'm telling you, it's going to be
Christmas gift to give somebody a Blu-ray for the Sawyer Massacre, right?
I agree.
Or a poster from the Sawyer Massacre, or some screen use props or something. We got all kinds of stuff.
Anything. Let's get this film out, people. We could do it. There's strength in numbers and unity and all that great stuff. So let's get this one out here. Do you have any last things you want to say to the people?
Well, if anybody does have any more questions, feel free to ask. But I really appreciate the support we've gotten thus far. Again, I can't believe we've raised over $30,000 US at this point, and we couldn't have done it without the fans. I do really hope we can do more, so we can make it as authentic as possible. And thank you, Aaron, for having me on. Not just a backer, but a huge supporter, having me on your show. Really appreciate it. It's great to talk horror with you. And I just love talking horror with people. It's become kind of a new thing for me. I never used to have people to talk horror with. And ever since I started doing this movie, it's like I got new people to always talk horror with. And that always excites me. And it's so awesome that, we can have our differences of opinion on certain things, and still, it's like, well, it's a cool conversation, and I can understand your perspective and you can understand my perspective. And I love that. You don't really see that in a lot of groups and over social media and all that kind of stuff. You don't see a lot of people, respecting each other's opinions as much when it comes to film. Horror seems to be a little bit different that way, though. I find the horror fan, sure, every horror fan is different, but I don't see a lot of people saying that you're wrong because you didn't like the Rob Zombie movies or that kind of thing, which is it seems to be a common topic on in a lot of Halloween groups and stuff like that. Did you like the Rob Zombie ones? Did you not like them?
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool that when I can see that there's not a lot of backlash from people, saying, well, you're wrong for that and you're wrong for that. But I see that in a lot of other film groups for whatever reason. I see a lot of people saying you're wrong for having an opinion, you know. So
Mhm.
I definitely really appreciate that with the horror community for sure.
No, I agree with you 1,000,000,000% on that. And I mean, as far as, first of all, thank you for actually, for coming on here and all that great stuff. It's like a win-win for both of us, because this is like what I do with the podcasting thing. It's like I
Hmm.
want some stuff to talk about besides my movie reviews that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's cool to get interviews on here with people like yourself, just to get that other fan perspective. And of course, what it does for the both of us is fans of yours are gonna they're gonna come in and gravitate towards this episode because you're here, and vice versa. They're gonna go gravitate. People from my end are gonna go check your stuff out, and they better go back and stop being cheap. Yes, I'm gonna
Exactly.
tell you
Everybody wins.
guys. So and at the same, and it's fun. We're having a great conversation.
Yeah, I
Both
love
horror
it.
fans, and I'd love you to come back on the show, man, to review
I'd
some
love
movies
to.
with us, and of course talk about your fan film as well. Like, that's what I love doing, that, having people come on here. It's like, okay, so you're a part of the horror community as far as like what, and I mean, I'm not I'm talking more so of like a creator, not just fans, like a
Mhm.
creator. Like, so what do you do? Like, you're a film creator. So cool. Let's discuss that, as well as discussing this film, and then maybe discuss why you don't like a certain film, or why you like this film that we're reviewing tonight
Mhm.
from your perspective, from your eyes. Like, it's cool to get the perspective of all fans in general, but it's also cool to get, like, that director, that producer, that actor or actress, whatever the case may be, even if someone that's been on set. I don't care if you're someone who's
Mhm.
just sleeping, but you've been on set. You on there, you just ate a sandwich, turning the light on and off. And I know it's more than just
Mhm.
turning the light on and off. I'm just using that because it's just simpler to say out there. But just as someone on set versus someone just watching it from the screen, like watching the finished product, it's cool to, like, okay, now I appreciate this, because I've had people on here where I'm like, okay, let me watch this film a little bit different now. And I respect it more. I like it more. It's not going to happen with Blood Lake, but other films,
You
other
never know. No, probably not.
no, it's not. It's not. But seriously though, like, I'm so happy that you came on here. I greatly appreciate you coming on here. We're gonna do this again. We need to do this again. And it's just fun at the end of the day. And I do like, again, what you were saying about with the horror fans. For the most part, here and there you'll get people bashing, of course, because that's with everything. But for the most part, people are just like, okay, I like this film because, or I don't like this film because, and it just kind of goes from there. You have conversation. You don't have to agree on it, but you don't have
Mhm.
to, like. But you don't have to. You could have. I guess you can kind of say maybe a debate or an argument, but you don't have to bash each other. Like, oh, you're stupid
Exactly.
for liking this film, because more so it's like, okay, here's why I like it, boom, 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 or here's why I hate it, boom, boom, boom. You
Mhm.
go back and forth, and sometimes you change people's minds. Sometimes you do, sometimes you
Sometimes
don't.
sometimes it's not about changing people's minds, it's about just seeing that point of view, right?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, like, I'll say
yeah,
maybe opening their minds more, like, oh, you know
opening
what?
yeah,
You're right. Like, I
exactly,
didn't see it from
exactly.
that way, that perspective or whatever. But that makes sense. Like, I'll give you an example. What movie? Fuck, I forgot the movie. Oh, Terrifier. You've seen that, right?
I actually haven't, believe it or not.
Oh, damn it. I don't want to ruin this for you then.
Oh, no. I don't know, I've heard mixed
I don't,
things about it, so I haven't I should watch at least a trailer, I guess,
I
but I've
no,
heard
I
some people
no.
say they love it, and I've heard others people say they hate it, so
Here's my thing. I say go watch the film. It gives you, for me, it gives you that, this is my opinion, that 80s kind of feel, the 80s slasher feel to it. Not really a deep story, but the 80s slasher feel. There's some amazing kills in it.
hmm,
I say just watch it for that,
okay.
and then go from there. But I don't even want to tell you the scene. I want you to watch it first, and I want to discuss it with you after, because there's a certain scene in there I know you're going to
Okay.
point out. You're either going to love it or hate it, depending on how you, I guess, how you visualize a film, like in your, like once you see that scene, like what's playing in your mind when you see it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
that's
that
like a
makes
great
sense.
example of a conversation, because I just reviewed it last night, Thursday. So that's like a great example. There's that scene that I'm thinking of right now, of a conversation to where, like, after you have a conversation with somebody on both ends of it, either you loved it or you hated it, and as to why, and it may change
Hmm,
your opinion on it. And I
interesting.
brought that up because, like, what we do now is, obviously, I do movie reviews and we review the film, like giving our ratings or whatever. But we'll do like a early rating at the beginning of the episode. No, we will just say, like, what's your rating? Won't ask why yet. Just give me your ratings, and I have them like on a spreadsheet. I'll save it, and then as we discuss the film, we'll see if their ratings change from the beginning of the episode to the end, just because you're hearing everybody else's input and what they got from the film. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, now that you've mentioned it, you're right. I didn't look at it like that, or I didn't think of it like that, or oh shit, damn, I don't like this film, or I don't like it as much as I thought I did. Getting your point of view on it because it makes you think more, and yeah, it's fun as shit. So you got to come on for that, man. It's
Definitely.
for one of
I love
those type
that.
of things, which we'll definitely talk. But people, we'll stick around for a couple more minutes. I don't want to hold him up too long. If you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, whatever, as far as the Sawyer Massacre, feel free to shoot them off now. And again, check out the Indiegogo. Get something awesome. Get yourself a shirt. Get yourself a Blu-ray. If you don't want to get yourself something, if you're one of those people I hate buying stuff for myself, get it from me. Simple as that.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it for someone that you love. One of your loved ones, friends, family. Get it for them. Either me or them or yourself. Boom. That's 3 reasons right there. 3 reasons besides backing an awesome film as to why. I wear a 2X. If you want to give me one of the t-shirts, I wear a 2X. Boom. Simple. I got the Blu-ray. I'll take another one. That'll be used for a giveaway. So seriously, you guys, back this film. Share, at the very least, again, share the link. Flood Facebook with the links. Post it in the horror groups. If you're in the Horror with Sir Sturdy horror group, which if you're not, you should be. And if you're
Definitely.
Post it in there. I tell people all the time, if you're in the Horror with Sir Sturdy group, anything and everything horror related, including your own projects, post it right in there. And definitely this. And let's back it. Let's get this thing going. We want to make horror amazing. It's already amazing, but we want to just have more amazing films and more amazing content coming out so we can be talking about this same fan film 10, 20 years down the road. Like, yo, that shit was fucking awesome. And then when you see Steve and his team making the Hollywood movies,
You never know.
we got to see this. We got to see this, like where he started from, see how much he grew and expanded from that. So let's get it out there, people. Again, a team. There's no I in team.
No I in team. And you can never have too many good films, right? Am I right?
That's very, very, very true. That's very freaking true. And why not get another one out there? Let's make this happen.
I hope that my film will inspire more people to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan films. I really do.
Yeah.
People have all actually been asking me what my plan is for a sequel and all that kind of stuff, which I have none. I have no plans to make a sequel to this. But boy, it'd be quite an honor if people like this movie and a filmmaker decided to make a sequel of their own to my film that goes nicely in between my film and the original. That would be the biggest honor a dude like me could ever receive. But I personally don't plan on making a sequel, but I just I like to see other people's visions too. It's I know there's another guy on YouTube that's apparently he's made a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film. And there's a little trailer out for it, and I've asked him a couple times, when's it coming out? I'd like to see it. I want to check it out, and it should be coming out soon apparently. But I think that one's called Leather. So hopefully that's coming out soon.
Awesome.
So I want to see more of these. It's not just about me. It's about I do hope that we can make something pretty special, but at the same time, I think you can't have too much. And if the filmmakers are passionate about it, it's going to show. That's what's going to show more. If they're just doing it to, I think if the filmmaker is just to splatter blood all over the place, it's going to show too.
Yeah.
If they just want to make something as bloody as possible, and that's cool too. If that's what they're passionate about. I just want to put together a good story and something that feels Texas Chainsaw Massacre like. But I appreciate anybody who's passionate about what they're doing for sure. So let's get as many Texas Chainsaw Massacre films made as possible, and as many good ones, I should say. as many good ones. I don't know about the Hollywood ones. I don't know.
I'll see, and I'll say good and bad. And the reason I say good and bad because Doomsday, what's up, man?
Hey, John.
I say good and bad because it's like, again, those bad films make you appreciate the ones in the middle a lot more. Now, of course you want the films to be good, but I'm just saying, still, not everything that's created is going to be good. And that's with everything in the world. That's people and films. That's everything. If you really
Yeah,
think about it,
everything.
we're not gonna get
It's
too deep
very
into
true.
it. So it's like just create. But basically what he's saying is he wants more of this to be created. So let's start
Yeah.
with this and let's back this one, and then when the next one comes out, guess what? We'll back that one as well, and so on and so forth with fan films across the board. Just make it dope. Just put your passion, blood, sweat, and tears, and passion into it, like he's doing. And listen, guys, from Canada to Texas, that's what he's doing. He's going to Texas to shoot this film. He could have did it right in his backyard for a whole lot cheaper, but
Could
he's
have.
doing it in Texas to make it more authentic. To make it authentic, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not the Canadian Chainsaw Massacre. That's not. I don't even know. That doesn't ring a bell. Like no one's good. I would watch it. I'm not gonna say no one would watch it because I would watch it just because. But Texas, it's gonna be in Texas.
Needs to be in Texas.
That's big. That's very important. Again, back that Indiegogo, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys that are sitting here watching, that have watched this and all that great stuff. The Indiegogo, I did post it in the comments. It's also in the description for the episode, as well as his Facebook page. So go check that out as well. Go join that group. Check out the contest. They do some awesome contests in there you need to pay attention to. It's as simple as sharing. It's as simple as sharing to be able to win one of these contests. I shared some shit earlier, about 35 times, I think. I don't know how many. I just kept sharing.
You might be the winner of that. It ends tonight, so let's see who's got the most shares. You know,
I'm just saying, you might beat me, guys, and I wouldn't be mad at it because I want this film to come out. I was just like, let me just share the shit of it because I want to see this film come out. I don't even care if I win or not. As a matter of fact, if I win, but no, I'm not gonna lie because I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give it to you, whatever thing it is. I might do it as a giveaway.
Yeah,
but if I do, you have to back the film. You have to share it. At least back $5. Do something. Let's get this film out there. Loading his hockey sticks and heading to Texas.
John, you're such a good guy.
Yeah, he's
John's
awesome.
an awesome guy. I love John.
He is a huge supporter of the podcast, and I know he's a supporter of what you guys do because I see him sharing and commenting and all that awesome stuff too. So, John, keep it up, man. Please keep it up. Go check out John's YouTube channel, by the way. Doomsday Crypt. Go show that channel some love because he shows everybody in horror that he's connected with, that he's cool with. He shows love, even just popping in, sharing stuff. Go show him love. Go show his Facebook page some love as well.
Yeah.
And again, back this movie and get yourself some Hemparita. Back the movie, get Hemparita. That's all you really need. And let me just do these end of the show plugs really quick for my network, the Z Network, an awesome podcast, which actually, Steve, the Horror Haven LLC, I'm going to get you connected with them. I'm friends with one of the guys. His name is Harvey. I just talked to him earlier today. He does want to interview you. He does want to have an interview with you as well.
Oh, cool. I see Horror Gamer on there.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Okay, he actually did a trailer reaction. He did 2 trailer reactions for for both of our trailers, actually.
Yeah. So I forgot when he started his podcast this year. I forgot when exactly, but I just talked to him earlier and I was like, yo, I said, do you do interviews on your show? And he's like, yeah, he would. So I'm like, okay, so when I get indie people, so you'll be the first one I send to him. When I get indie horror, film creators, I'm gonna start sending them over to him as well as other podcasts that I know. But so go check out the Horror Haven LLC. Go check out Horror Gamer. He does some amazing content. Dream's the creator. He's based in North Carolina, but he does videography, filmography, editing, and all that stuff. Check him out on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Dreams the Creator. Again, awesome content. Over here, Worst Damn Gamer Ever. He's he comes on Horror with Sir Sturdy damn near every Tuesday and Thursday for the movie reviews, but he also has his own content out there, gaming and all that fun stuff. You can check him out on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook at Worst Damn Gamer Ever. The Devil Made Me Do It is another awesome podcast. It's a serial killer show. So they'll be discussing, serial killers, deep diving into the true crimes and all that fun stuff. YouTube, IG, Facebook, Twitch, check that out. Any last words? You've been on there.
Yep, I have.
As well as I have. Awesome podcast. Go check it out. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch as well. And then So Good It's Scary. So now remember when I was telling you guys about, and Steve, when I was talking about how with the short films, half hour or shorter, and we'll review them right here on the live. Here's the thing. So go to So Good It's Scary on Facebook, because I don't know if you can do it on Instagram, but go to So Good It's Scary on Facebook. Follow it on Instagram as well. And if you want your short film reviewed by us, not only reviewed, but if you want us to play it on our live and then review it right after, post the film on So Good It's Scary Facebook page, and we'll do that. We will do that. We'll also put your YouTube channel or whatever it is. We'll put the exact in the description. So if people want to go there and watch it on their own time or whatever. But if you post it on So Good It's Scary, it's saying, okay, you guys can show this, live stream it, and show it and review it. And we're going to give our honest opinions. So good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to give our honest opinions. We're not going to sit here and say you suck, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. But we're going to be, if it's bad, we're going to tell you it's bad. We're not going to be mean, but we're going to be honest. So people, if you want your short film reviewed, post it right on there. And again, like I said, we'll still review short films. If you don't want us to show them on screen, just don't post them in that group. Reach out to me and we'll make it happen as well. Last but not least, live shows every Tuesday and Thursday, Horror with Sir Sturdy, right where you're sitting, listening and watching it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch as well. Again, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Popcorn and Pints, live every Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll review 2 non-horror films. You're gonna have a great time with any show, with any of these shows. Stories from a Bar. So this is up in my area, like the capital region, upstate New York. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as anywhere you can listen to podcasts. He goes to different like breweries and bars around here, sits down with the brewers, sits down with the owners, talks about the beer, talks about the place, talks about just having a bar conversation. But he'll mention the beer and all that stuff. Awesome, fun show. Deep Focus Cinema, another movie podcast, Facebook and YouTube. I'm telling you guys right now, if you've ever watched Popcorn and Pints with Ibrahim or you've seen him on Horror with Sir Sturdy, he gives he has people just like him on there that gives like a really, really great deep dive on films and cinema like this. And it'll be films you've never heard of. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's amazing. Go check that out. We also have another podcast that we started about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be recording this when we can, but we're going to be live tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time. It's called The Cinematic Canon. And the movies we're reviewing tomorrow is The Raid 1 and 2, 2 foreign films. Going to be a fun time. And these like with that show, there's always a theme. And it's Ibrahim's, it's like his baby. He's like the host of it. Me and my boy James are co-host. And the way it's 2 films, but there's a theme involved with this. No wheels. He always has a theme for each film that we're doing. I forgot what the theme was. He sent it to me. I got to, I'll take care of that later. But again, people check it out. There's some awesome content. And again, please go to Indiegogo, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can afford. Seriously, go. If you can't afford, share. You can afford to hit the share button. Hit the share button as many times as you can. I say do it at least 3-4 times a day, every 3 to 4 hours. That way it's not getting too floody. 3 to 4 times a day, every 3 to 4 hours. Share it in a bunch of horror groups. Share it on your own page, all that good stuff. And we can get this out there to the people.
Awesome.
Exactly. Every dollar helps. Every dollar helps. I'll say every share helps. Again, Doomsday, I greatly appreciate it. 2 of my favorites. Glad to see you guys doing this sit down. There's going to be more. Me and him are already talking. There's going to be more, not only for movie reviews, but for another type of promo thing for this as well. And maybe next time we can get some people from the film or in the film or just having something to do with the film on here. And guys, share this episode as well. Share, just hit the share button. Just hit the share button. Hit the love, like, all that great stuff, but make sure you back this Indiegogo as well. Let's get this film out there because it's going to be amazing. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Steve, again, thank you for coming on. I had an amazing time with you, man. And
thanks for having me, Aaron.
Of course. And everybody else out there.
Hey, everyone.
Derek, what's up, man? How's it going? We're actually getting ready to wrap this one up, man. But please watch the replay. Check out Steve's Indiegogo. I'm telling you, you guys are going to really, really enjoy it. Just from the trailer alone, you're going to love it. Hit that subscribe button as well, people, on YouTube. Hit that sub button. And as always, I'll see you in your nightmare.